The grand hall of the Varelian palace was alive with light and sound. It was the day of the great ceremony, the day Ethan Cole and Queen Zarella would make their union official. This union was not just a marriage. It was the symbol of a new beginning for two worlds. Ethan stood beside the queen, dressed in formal robes that shimmered softly in the light. He looked around the hall and saw faces from many different planets. Some were smiling, others still cautious. But all had come to witness this moment. The queen's silver hair flowed gently, and her golden eyes sparkled with hope. At Ethan, with trust and kindness, the ceremony began with ancient Varelian music, soft and beautiful. The words spoken were old, but full of promise. When it was time for the vows, Ethan took the queen's hands in his. "Your Majesty," he said, "I promise to stand by your side, to work for peace, and to protect both our peoples. Together, we will face the future with hope and strength." Zarella smiled and replied, "And I promise to listen, to learn, and to lead with fairness. Our worlds will grow together, stronger and wiser." The crowd cheered softly. The union was sealed not by force, but by choice. After the ceremony, Ethan and Zarella spoke to the gathered leaders. "We are no longer to separate worlds," Ethan said. "We are partners in peace. Together, we will build a galaxy where all can live with hope." Zarella added, "This union is a symbol not of power or control, but of trust and friendship." As days passed, Ethan adjusted to his new role. He learned Varelian ways and shared Earth stories. The palace became his home, but his heart stayed connected to Earth. He often thought of his family and friends, knowing that their future was now tied to this vast empire. One evening, Ethan and Zarella walked through the palace gardens. The stars shone above, and the floating flowers glowed softly. "Do you miss Earth?" Zarella asked gently. Ethan smiled. "Sometimes, but now I feel Earth is here with you." "Our futures are linked," Zarella nodded. "I feel the same. Together, we are stronger." Their partnership began to change the Galactic Union. More worlds saw the value of peace and cooperation. Trade grew. His knowledge was shared, and old rivalries slowly faded. Ethan's courage and honesty earned him respect far beyond the Varelian Empire, yet challenges remained. Some factions still opposed the new order, but with Zarella and Ethan united, those voices grew quieter. One day, a message arrived from Earth. It was a simple note: "We are proud of you." Ethan smiled as he read it. He knew his journey had only just begun. The galaxy was vast and full of mystery, but with trust and friendship, there was hope. And Ethan, the human chosen to face a queen's shocking demand, had become a symbol not of fear, but of a bright future. The halls of the Varelian palace were quiet now, but tension filled the air. The Galactic Council was ready to make its final decision. The fate of Earth, of Queen Zarella's empire, and of peace itself, hung in the balance. Ethan Cole stood tall in the grand courtroom. He looked around at the many alien faces watching him closely. Some were curious, some skeptical, others cold and untrusting. He took a deep breath. This was the moment he had prepared for. The Queen's voice echoed softly through the room. "Today, we honor an ancient tradition, a trial by truth. If Ethan Cole can prove Earth's loyalty and honesty, then peace will be secured. If he fails, then the law demands his execution." Ethan's heart beat fast, but he did not show fear. Instead, he felt calm and focused. The trial began. Ethan stood before the Galactic Council, a group of leaders from many worlds. They asked him questions about Earth's history, its culture, its hopes and fears. Ethan answered with honesty and clarity. He spoke of Earth's struggles and dreams. He explained how humans valued peace and cooperation. The council listened carefully. Some members nodded slowly, impressed by his words. Then, the council called for the proof of the sabotage plot. Ethan stepped forward and showed the intercepted messages and secret plans. He explained how these plots tried to create mistrust and war Mira. His AI assistant projected images and data to support every claim. The evidence was clear. One council member with many eyes leaned forward. This evidence is strong. But can we trust a human's word fully? Ethan smiled gently. Trust is earned, not given. I ask you to look not only at my words, but at my actions. Suddenly a voice spoke from the back of the room. It was Ambassador Drox, returned in chains. I am guilty of treason, Drox said with regret. I sought power over peace. I tried to destroy the treaty. The room was silent. Drox's words shocked many. Queen Zirella stepped forward and said, Truth has been spoken. Justice must follow. The council members conferred quietly. Finally, the chief counselor stood. Ethan Cole, you have proven your truth. The law recognizes your loyalty and Earth's honesty. The crowd gasped in relief and surprise. The queen smiled proudly. Then the execution will not proceed. Ethan felt a great weight lift from his shoulders, but the queen's voice softened. Now, there's one last question. Ethan looked at her. Will you marry me now that you know the truth? The question surprised Ethan. He thought of the days spent together, the trust built, the friendship formed. He thought of Earth, of the future, and of the choice he must make. After a moment, Ethan spoke with quiet confidence. Your Majesty, I came here fearing death, but I leave here hoping for partnership. I accept the marriage not because of fear, but because I believe in what we can build together. The queen's eyes shone with happiness. Then let our union be not only of law, but of hope. The crowd applauded softly. Later, in a quiet room, Ethan and Zirella talked about the future. We have much work ahead, she said, but together we can change the galaxy. Ethan nodded. I am ready. Outside, the stars shone bright. A new chapter was beginning. The great hall of the Varelian Palace was filled with light from shining crystals and tall windows that looked out on the floating gardens. The air buzzed with whispers and quiet tension. The Galactic Council was meeting again. This time the meeting was more serious than before. Ethan Cole stood near Queen Zirella, his heart beating fast. The past days had been difficult. It uncovered a secret plot against their peace agreement. But now, Ethan knew the danger was even closer. Then he thought Ambassador Drox, the Queen's former trusted advisor, had disappeared after being banished. But Ethan had learned that some members of the council still supported Drox's plan for war and chaos. They wanted to use lies to turn the Empire against Earth and against the Queen. Ethan glanced at Queen Zirella. She looked strong but tired. The weight of ruling a vast empire was clear on her face. The doors opened, and the council members entered one by one. They were from many alien races, each with their own strange forms and customs. Some had many arms, others had glowing skin, and all wore serious expressions. The council took their seats in a large circle around the hall. At the center was a glowing orb that showed the image of the Varelian Empire and Earth together. Queen Zirella rose and spoke in a clear voice. Honored members of the Galactic Council, today we face a critical moment. We must decide if peace or war will guide our future. A murmur ran through the room. Some council members looked angry. Others looked doubtful. Ethan stepped forward. He felt the eyes of many strange creatures on him. He took a deep breath. Members of the council, he said, I come from Earth. A world new to your union. We seek friendship, not war. We want to build peace and understanding between our peoples. A council member with 4 glowing eyes spoke. How can we trust a human? Your world is unknown to us. What proof do we have that Earth means no harm? Ethan nodded. Right. I understand your doubt. That is why I bring evidence. He showed the messages they had found, secret plans of sabotage and lies meant to start a war. The hall grew quiet. The glowing orb showed intercepted transmissions and secret meetings that proved the sabotage. Another council member, a tall being with silver feathers, spoke carefully. This is serious. If these lies are true, those who plot war must be stopped. Ethan felt hope. We must work together. Peace is possible if we trust each other. Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted the meeting. The large doors slammed open, and a group of armed guards rushed inside. "Security breach," a guard shouted. Everyone turned. Ethan's heart pounded. The guards arrested a small group of shadowy figures hiding in the hall, members of a secret faction still loyal to Drox. The Queen's voice rang out. "This treachery will not be tolerated. These saboteurs threaten the future of the Empire and Earth alike." Ethan stepped forward again. "Let this be proof. Even in darkness, we can find the light of truth." The council members nodded slowly. The mood in the room shifted from fear to cautious hope. After the meeting, Ethan was called to a private chamber. There, Queen Zarella waited for him. "You have done well, Ethan," she said softly. "You have shown courage and wisdom." Ethan smiled tiredly. "I only want peace, Your Majesty." Zarella's eyes shone. "That is why you are more than a symbol. You are a partner." Ethan felt warmth at her words, but he also felt the heavy weight of what lay ahead. "We must prepare for more challenges," the Queen said. "The factions will not give up easily." Ethan nodded. "Then we must be ready." Days passed quickly. Ethan worked closely with the Queen and her loyal guards to strengthen security. Mira helped by analyzing communications and detecting hidden threats. One evening, as Ethan walked through the palace gardens, he noticed a quiet figure watching him from the shadows. It was Drox's face was cold. "Human," he said, "you think you have one. But this empire is built on power and fear. Your peace will not last." Ethan met his gaze steadily. "I believe in hope and friendship," Drox laughed bitterly. "Hope, that is weak. You do not understand the truth of power." Before Ethan could respond, guards arrived and took Drox away, but the warning stayed in Ethan's mind. Back in the palace, Ethan and Zarella discussed their next steps. "We must find allies," Zarella said. "Friends in the council who believe in peace," Ethan nodded. "And show the galaxy that humans are not threats." Together, they planned a grand event, a celebration of unity between Earth and the Varelian Empire. Invitations were sent. To all members of the Galactic Union, the event would be a chance to build trust, show goodwill, and share cultures. The day of the celebration arrived. The palace sparkled with lights and music from many worlds. Aliens and humans walked side by side, sharing food, stories, and laughter. Ethan felt hope like never before. During the event, Queen Zarella took Ethan's hand and smiled. "You have done well, human. Together, we may change the galaxy." Ethan squeezed her hand gently. "I believe we will." But as the stars shone brightly overhead, Ethan knew that the true test was yet to come. Ethan sat quietly in the crystal garden of the Varelian palace. The bright colors of strange flowers and floating plants surrounded him. He tried to calm his racing thoughts. Everything had happened so fast, he was now part of a powerful alien world's politics. The Queen's demand to marry him or face execution was still fresh in his mind. But now, the Queen had given him 3 days to decide. This time was a gift-on opportunity. Ethan knew he had to use it well. Mira's voice came from his device. "Ethan, you have time. Use it to learn more about their people and customs. Knowledge is your best weapon." Ethan smiled a little. "Thanks, Mira. I will." The palace was full of strange technology and beautiful art. Varelians moved gracefully around, their eyes always watching. Some looked curious, some suspicious. Ethan could feel their mixed feelings about him, a human who was suddenly very important. The next morning, Ethan met with Ambassador Drox again. Drox was tall, serious, and always seemed to watch everyone carefully. "You must understand." "Human," Drox said quietly. "This marriage is not only about peace, it is about power. The Queen needs a partner who can unite the factions of our empire." Ethan nodded. "I see. What if I do not want to marry her?" Drox smiled coldly. "Then you will die. That is the law." Ethan did not like Drox. He seemed to want to keep the old ways that might harm Earth. Later, Ethan returned to the Queen's chambers. Queen Zarella sat on a throne made of shining crystals. Her silver hair fell softly over her shoulders. She looked tired but strong, Ethan, she said, I do not want to force you. But my empire is fragile. The rival factions grow restless. If I do not marry soon, civil war may break out. Ethan listened carefully. Why me? Why a human? Zirella looked into his eyes. Because you are not part of our old politics. You are a symbol of hope, a new start. Ethan felt a mix of fear and pride. He thought of his home Earth, a small blue planet in a huge galaxy. Could he really help this alien empire? Is there no other way? Ethan asked. The Queen sighed. There might be. Ethan leaned forward. Tell me? Zirella's voice softened. We could sign a diplomatic contract, marriage of convenience. No love needed. A partnership to secure peace. Ethan smiled. Oh, that sounds better. I can do that. Zirella smiled back, but there was sadness in her eyes. It may save the Empire, but it will not be easy. Ethan knew she was right. The next day, Ethan met the Queen's Council. These were powerful leaders from different parts of the Empire. They listened as Ethan spoke about Earth and the hope for peace. Some looked doubtful. One council member said, How can we trust a human? We know so little. Ethan answered calmly, We are new, but we want friendship. I promise Earth will not bring war. After the meeting, Ethan returned to his room. Mira spoke softly. Ethan, the council's trust is weak. You must find a way to prove Earth's honesty. Ethan nodded. I will. That night, Ethan walked through the palace halls. Suddenly, a shadow moved near the windows. Who's there? Ethan called. A figure stepped forward. It was Drock's ambassador, Drock said with a cold smile. You are clever, but not welcome. Some here want to see this peace fail. To Ethan's heart beat fast. What do you want? Drock's eyes were hard. To keep the old power, he threatened that. Ethan realized the danger was bigger than he thought. The next morning, Ethan asked to speak with Queen Zirella privately. She looked worried, but agreed. Your Majesty, Ethan said, there are people working against us. They want to stop this. Peace. Zirella's face grew dark. I feared this. We must be careful. Together, they planned a way to protect the treaty. Ethan suggested using his AI Mira to help find proof of sabotage. Zirella nodded. Good. We need your help. Days passed as Ethan worked with Mira and the Queen's loyal guards. They found secret messages, plans to blame Earth for war and chaos. Ethan felt the weight of the situation. If the false stories spread, Earth would be destroyed. He shared the evidence with the Queen. Zirella studied it carefully. This changes everything. We must act quickly. The Queen called the council again. This sabotage must end, she said. If we allow lies to rule, the Empire will fall. Ethan stood with her, feeling a new strength. Suddenly the doors opened. Drox entered, his face hard. You accuse me? He said angrily. Zirella held up the evidence. Your plans have been revealed. You seek war for power. God. The council gasped. Dr. Ox sneered, but the proof was clear. The Queen spoke firmly. You are banished. Drox's eyes burned with anger. He left the hall. The council cheered quietly. Zirella looked at Ethan. You have done well, human. You are more than a symbol now. Ethan smiled. I only want peace. The Queen's eyes softened. See that perhaps this treaty will work. But Ethan knew their troubles were not over. That night, as he looked at the stars from his window, he thought of Earth and the future. He felt ready to face whatever came next. The stars shone brightly over Earth. In a small room, Ethan Cole sat alone. His eyes were wide with surprise. A strange message had just arrived, one that would change his life forever. Ethan was not a soldier or a great leader. He was an ordinary man, a scientist, and a thinker. But now, he had been chosen for a special job. The leaders of Earth had picked him to be Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Union, a group of many alien worlds. The message was simple but clear. Come. To the Varelian Empire, meet our Queen. Your people must join the Galactic Union. Ethan could not believe it. aliens were real. They knew about Earth, and they wanted to meet him. He stood up and looked out the window. The city lights twinkled below. This was no dream. This was real. The next days were full of preparation. Ethan studied alien languages and customs. It learned about the Varelian Empire world far from Earth, with cities made of crystal and gardens that floated in the sky. His best friend Mira was not a person, but an AI assistant. She helped Ethan learn faster and gave advice. "Ethan," Mira said, her voice calm and a little teasing, "remember, the Queen might not be happy to see you. Be polite, be careful." Ethan nodded. "I will, but I must understand them too." Finally, the day came. Ethan stood before a glowing portal of the wormhole that would take him to the Varelian Empire. He took a deep breath and stepped through. The world on the other side was unlike anything he had ever seen. The sky was a soft purple with 3 suns shining gently. Towers of shining crystal rose high into the clouds. Beautiful gardens floated in the air, filled with bright flowers and strange birds. A group of Varians waited for him. They had tall, slender bodies, smooth skin, with colors like deep blues and greens, eyes that shone like stars. A tall woman with silver hair and eyes like liquid gold stepped forward. She wore a crown that sparkled with many stones. "I am Queen Zarella," she said, her voice both strong and gentle. "Welcome to the Varelian Empire, Ambassador Ethan Cole." Ethan bowed deeply. "Your Majesty, I am honored." The Queen smiled a little. "We have watched your world for many years. Your people are new, but promising." Ethan smiled, feeling hope. But then the Queen's face changed. Her eyes grew serious. "There's one thing you must understand," she said, her voice low. Ethan waited. The Queen continued, "You must marry me." Ethan blinked. "Excuse me? You heard me well?" the Queen said, her voice firm. "Marry me, or face execution." The words hit Ethan like a cold wind. "Why?" he asked, his voice trembling. The Queen looked at him with eyes full of power and sadness. "This is the law of my people. To join the Galactic Union, a royal marriage is needed to secure peace. You are the chosen one." Ethan felt his heart beat faster. "I do not understand. I am just a human." The Queen nodded. "Exactly. That is why you are perfect. You come from a world unknown to us. You are a symbol of new hope. Marry me, and Earth will be accepted. Refuse, and Earth will be destroyed." The court was silent. No one spoke. Ethan looked at the Queen. He saw the weight she carried. The burden of a queen who must save her people. "I need time to think," Ethan said carefully. The Queen's eyes softened. 3 days after that, no more time. Ethan was led to a beautiful guest room, sat on a soft chair and closed his eyes. What should he do? Marry an alien queen, or face death? His mind raced. He thought of his family, his friends, and all of Earth. Suddenly, Mir's voice came from his device. "Ethan, this is serious. But remember, you are human. You have strength and courage." Ethan smiled weakly. "Thanks, Mira. I will find a way." The next day, Ethan was taken to meet the Queen again. This time, she spoke more gently. "Tell me, Ethan, what do you know of love?" she asked. Ethan blinked. "Love, it is respect, care, trust, ... and hope." The Queen nodded slowly. "Perhaps there is more than one way to save a people." They began to talk more. Ethan learned that the Queen was lonely. She ruled with wisdom, but also with fear of losing her empire. Ethan shared stories of Earth's friendship, hope, and dreams. The days passed quickly. On the 3rd day, Ethan stood before the Queen again. "I have thought much," he said. "I will not marry you because I fear death. I want to help your people, but there must be another way." The Queen looked at him, surprise shining in her eyes. Ethan continued, "What if we sign a treaty, a contract of peace and friendship? Not marriage, but partnership." The Queen smiled a true smile this time. "You are clever, human. Perhaps this is the start of something new." Suddenly, A loud sound echoed through the hall. Guards rushed in. An advisor named Drock stepped forward, his face hard. "Your Majesty, there are those who do not want this peace," he said. "They plot against you." The Queen's smile faded. She looked at Ethan with a new respect. "Then our work has just begun," she said. Ethan felt a spark of hope inside him. He was just one man, but maybe, just maybe, he could change the future.